Let's wait. All right, let's take a look at this. This is my the deck I'm on right now. Probably the list I'm going to take to SCG Worcester, which is coming up this weekend, April 8th and 9th, 2017, to give reference in case someone watches this video a week later or a year later. Anyway, right now I'm on 3 Burning Wish. Instead of the 4 main that I usually play. I still think I like 4 better, but I'm really thinking that like I just can't find space for it because I really want the Reign of Filth. I played without it for a while. I started playing it again and I've really come around to it. And I really want 2 Decays and I really want 17 lands. And so with all of those things, there are only 2 cards that I could reasonably cut, and one was a Lion's Eye Diamond, and I really don't like playing with only 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds because the deck feels like a lot slower. You get a lot fewer fast wins. And I've played with only 3 Burning Wishes before, and it's alright. So I cut the Burning Wish. Sideboard is a little more focused now. Instead of having... let me show you the whole sideboard. Instead of having a relatively small wish board and then a bunch of non-wishable things, I've decided that it makes the most sense to just, focus the sideboard on what I'm trying to beat. So right here is the main wish board, these 7 cards. Empty the Warrens is relatively new for me, but I'm liking it a lot. I played a live game against a friend of mine last night on Bug Delver, and there was one of our games where I just, I duress him, and I take counter magic, and I see Leovold. No, I can't beat the Leovold with what I had right then, so I made 10 goblins, and that's enough goblins. Like that was enough. Turn 3 Leovold is not fast enough to stop the goblins. In game 1, I think it was a game 1, they don't have a good answer to the goblins. Up to 3 Xantid Swarm. The card is just really fucking good. Like if you land it, you'd probably win because post board your opponents aren't usually gonna keep removal in unless they're a lightning bolt deck. In which case they probably retain the bolts. But even so, like against like a Delver type deck, maybe you only want 2 swarms. Against Miracles, you probably want to bring in all 3. It's just a really good card. And the other upside of it is that a lot of the counter magic that people sideboard is like sort of situational counter magic. Flusterstorm, Spell Pierce, Invasive Surgery, cards like that can't hit Xantid Swarm. And so you basically you can focus your discard on their either like their combo pieces if they're another combo deck, or like Show and Tell or something, or on their Force of Wills, or on Hymn to Turok, or like whatever disruption is going to mess you up. And then you can slam the Xantid Swarm through any number of Flusterstorms, and it will potentially win you the game. We've got the remaining 2 Abrupt Decays because the first 2 are in my deck, the Shellduck Isle Emrakul package, and then the last slot is a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a throwaway slot, but I'm not exactly sure about it, so I put a Karakas in. Karakas does a lot of things. It's good against Show and Tell decks. It's good against Reanimator sometimes. It also is a free solution to Leovold. So it's good in pass turn piles if you're tight on mana. You can draw, like for example, say you had 3 lands. Say you had like 2 Underground Seas and a Bayou or something. That's enough mana where you could make a pass a turn. And if you had a top out, so 2 Underground Seas and Bayou, 2 Underground Seas, a Bayou, and a top out. That's enough mana where you could like hardcast Doomsday and make a pass turn pile, if you wanted to win through a Leovold, you wouldn't be able to draw an Abrupt Decay and then win the same turn. You'd have to like pass 2 turns. Caracas, it gives you a uncounterable, more or less, free way to beat a Leovold. So it also can, I usually side it in against Death and Taxes because it's an extra land, and if you're trying to play through a Thalia or something, it's helpful. And it also is a solution to Thalia herself. So plenty of good stuff that it can do. I'm not totally sure it's worth a slot, but I can't really think of anything better as a 1-of. The other option, I guess, would be like another Wishboard spell. Like you could fucking, I don't know, Time Spiral or something a little off the wall. Telement Performance is spicy. But I think Caracas has better utility. So that's the deck right now. So I'm going to show you a couple flavors of Bug. I have 2 matches against 2 different Bug decks. And I'll show you how they turn out. Alright, so here's my opening hand. I keep this hand. It's not great. It could be, like, I'd maybe like to see like a cantrip or a top and a ritual or something. That would be real good. But we have the lands that we could be able to cast Abrupt Decay. We have Duress. You have Lion's Eye Time and you have a Business Spell. So it's not a stellar hand, but I don't think that I can throw this one back. So deep. They lead off with Misty Rainforest and go right into a Thoughtseize and take our 1 Business Spell. So that's kind of annoying. So here I just am going to play out my Duress. They had, oh my god. Come on. Alright. So I draw a Lotus Petal for the turn. Grab Bloodstained Mire. And just get a Swamp. Get the basic because this makes me think Wasteland deck. Like maybe Shardless or Bug Delver or something. So I get the basic and just dress them. And here I see double True-Name, Deathrite Shaman, Leovold. So they don't have any disruption. Unless you count Leovold. But they do potentially have a very fast clock. I'm not too worried about the Leovold because we have Abrupt Decay, unless they get more discard and I lose the Abrupt Decay. But if they get more discard and slam Leovold, I'm probably not winning this game. So anyway, Duress whiffs, but I see their game plan. So now I can just expect the, yeah, I run out the Lotus Petal just in case. In case I want to be able to use it for green mana and like fetch another land or fetch another basic or something. Actually, I don't have the fetches to fetch a basic, but anyway. So they just play out the Deathrite Shaman, I think. Or maybe they drew Brainstorm. Taking a long time paying those costs. What's next? Yep, just run out the Deathrite Shaman. And then they pass turn. And I can play the Delta and pass. So I'm just on the draw-go plan here, waiting for the Leo. So they'll likely be able to play Leo and hold up. You know, leave the Deathrite Shaman up for extra mana or just attack with it. So they also know that I have Abrupt Decay here because they Thoughtseize me and saw it. So I can't remember if they actually play Leovold, but it looks like they're going to. I need that for blue, yep. So down comes Leo. They probably just want me to get rid of that Abrupt Decay. They know they force me to use it this way. So take the hit from that guy, and then I fetch my Trop and Decay Leo. So Leo almost serves as them as a cantrip here because they knew that I was going to decay it. So it's like a cantrip plus a discard spell on me. So just slamming it's not bad because it forces me to use it. So I just keep drawing lands. Things aren't looking great from this point. And they have potentially a very fast clock. So here comes a True-Name, as expected. They have 3 cards in hand, and at least, I think, at this point, 2 of them I don't know about. So it's quite likely that they could have Counter Magic. And so Counter Magic and 5 damage a turn is pretty threatening. So I decided that my best bet is to Ponder. Now, personally, like, this is kind of a tough choice because you want to be able to have the Ponder to be able to cantrip after a Doomsday. And if I just naturally drew a Doomsday next turn, then I would be able to do that. And actually, Doomsday or a Burning Wish next turn would be able to do that. So it's possible that playing the Ponder here wasn't the right play. However, because they have a hand of 3 cards that I don't know about or 2 that I don't know about, and the one I do know about is blue, I'm wary of Force of Will, and I decided that it's better for me to Ponder and try to find like a Divining Top or Disruption, because I'm not dead yet, so there's the possibility of me building a pass a turn pile if I can know that their hand is clear, or using a top to dig me into business and also act as my cantrip after Doomsday. So I Ponder, and I'm such a luck sack, so here we go. Like everything I need. We'll call it good deck construction. So I put the Divining Top on top and Doomsday below it. Don't shuffle. Just grab the top and play it and pass the turn. Oh, I've run out of the Lion's Eye Diamond. I have a lot of mana here. As you can see, I'll have a lot of mana. So they could actually Abrupt Decay the Lion's Eye Diamond, and I would still be able to go off with the Lab Maniac pile. So by playing the Lion's Eye Diamond, not only am I protecting myself from discard, but I'm also potentially baiting an Abrupt Decay that they may or may not have. So Abrupt Decay during my combo turn would be more disruptive than them getting it beforehand and thinking that they were making the right play. So they do something. They activate the Shaman and hit me for 2. And then they play a land. And they play Jitty. And they equip it to True-Name and they swing. Now, yep, swing, swing, swing. Okay, so now since they didn't decay my Lion's Eye Diamond, I decide that I have a little more freedom with what I do on my next turn. So I spin the top, and I'm going to put Brainstorm on top, and so I can use it to draw the Doomsday and that extra Lion's Eye Diamond and a 3rd mystery card. If that mystery card is a Duress or Cabal Therapy or something, I will have the resources to cast that and still go off. So that seems like the right play. Now, worth noting here that now that they have the equipment and the Shaman and the True-Name, I'm not going to win if I try to wait a turn to find Disruption. They have 2 cards in their hand. I know one of them is potentially, or is a True-Name Nemesis. I know that, and the other one's a mystery. If it's Force, we're dead. So, can't play around Force, don't bother. Well, I mean, the Brainstorm thing I mentioned before could potentially play around Force if I draw a Disruption, but there's no point in like worrying about that. Now we can beat a Daze if they had a Daze or something, so that we can just ignore. So anyway, I draw the Brainstorm off the Trop, and I don't draw the discard spell. Now I don't have enough mana here where, or let me put it this way, if I didn't have to put 2 cards back right now, I would be able to play the Bloodstained Mire, Burning Wish for, would I be able to do that? Yeah, I guess I'd be a little short there. Okay, so basically, I thought I'd have enough mana to Burning Wish for Cabal Therapy them, and then still Doomsday, but I think I'm a mana short. If I didn't have to put 2 cards back. I have to put 2 cards back, so I decide that I'm going to go for a Storm kill instead of a Lab Maniac kill, because the Jitty can kill a Lab Maniac, and they could potentially have another card in hand, like Abrupt Decay or something that could kill a Lab Maniac. I have plenty of mana to work with, so I can beat Daze or Spell Pierce. So I play out my Lion's Eye Diamond, I play out the Burning Wish. Crack a Lion's Eye Diamonds. I think I cracked both of them. Yeah, that makes sense. So Burning Wish grabs me Doomsday. Because I have Doomsday, or because I have plenty of mana, when I build my pile, they decide that they're going to hit me before Doomsday, which is wrong, probably wrong. They restrict the amount of life I have a lot more if they wait till after. But they probably aren't familiar with the deck, so you can get a lot of free percentage points from people who don't know what the fuck you're doing. Come on, where are my 5 cards? Show me the 5 cards. Alright, whoa, can we back up a little? Does the undo function work? Well, so the pile is a relatively simple pile. It should be 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, a Probe, Burning Wish, and Ideas Unbound. And you put Burning Wish on the bottom. And then here I did 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, then Ideas Unbound, then Probe. What this lets me do, because I have extra mana, I can top into Probe and see what they have in their hand, because if I see that they are like they have a Force of Will and are just gonna let me combo off and then kind of catch me at a choke point, I can just scoop and not reveal how the combo works. So there's some advantage to be gained there since I have the extra mana to do it. So we'll do that, probe them, and see that they have a True-Name and a land, so they're dead. Combo them out. And plenty of Storm to beat the life gain from the Jitty. So that's game 1. Now against a deck like this, I know they have Leovold. I assume they have Leovold against from almost any bug deck. So I believe that the way I sideboarded was to take leave the 2 main deck decays in. I think I bring in 2 Xantid Swarms, and I also cut a Bloodstained Mire for the Caracas. And for cards I took out, I think it was 1 Lion's Eye Diamond, 1 Jutaxian Probe, and maybe the Rain of Filth. Rain of Filth or a Ritual. I didn't see a lot of counter magic out of them, so I'm assuming that this is probably like a Shardless deck, but with True-Name, because Delver doesn't normally play Thoughtseize. So, I don't know, it's not totally clear to me what's going on here. Some kind of bug deck with a little bit of disruption. So anyway, on to game 2. So they'll be on the play this time. Now, this hand again, this is pretty good. Definitely a keeper. Got Business, got a Ritual, got a Cantrip, got disruption. So definitely going to keep that. They keep 7 as well. And they start with Underground Sea into Deathrite Shaman. So no disruption for them on the first turn. I'm just going to lead off with Swamp and Duress. Ooh, I drew another Duress. That's good. And they have a Daze. They have another Leovold. So that Leovold is potentially a little bit of a problem, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to play it. Well, they're going to be able to play it on their next turn. So I can't remember what I do here. I took the Daze. And I think I just plan. So I guess at this point, there's potential for me to consider trying to make goblins, but between Deathrite Shaman and Leovold, that make the goblin plan a little weaker. I would need probably like 14 goblins to make it worth my while. However, they elect to not play the Leovold this turn, which seems bad to me, like maybe a little bad, but I guess they figured they had some time and they wanted to brainstorm, so we let them. I'm like, that's fine with me, don't play your Leovold. And then here I'm going to ponder first I'll duress them. And then they have a Flusterstorm. Then I'm going to ponder because I really need to find an answer to that Leovold. And once again, my ponder is great. So I believe my play here is I need the Abrupt Decay for Leovold. And I'm looking at building a Brainstorm pile with the Brainstorm and the Doomsday. So Brainstorm on the bottom 3, Doomsday in the middle, Abrupt Decay on top. We'll draw the Decay for Ponder. Let them slam Leovold, which is presumably what they're going to do here. What's going on? Oh, okay, that's the end of my turn. Sorry, I got confused. So they just shocked me at the end of my turn, and now they're going to presumably play Leo. What's going on with their graveyard here? Okay, so I'm not quite sure why, but they run out the Goyf. They probably are trying to just get a clock on me and don't think that I'm going to be able to win soon. I did take a very long time to win in game 1, so they might think. And also, if they know anything about the deck, they probably have heard that it's slower than something like Ant, so they're expecting me to take a while. So I'm just going to play out the Mire, or no, I play out the Volcanic Island and wait. And now they'll probably shock me with Deathrite Shaman, yep. And on their turn, they'll likely attack and then slam the Leovold. I'll decay at my end step and then kill them. So I still haven't seen any Wasteland out of them. I've kind of been wary of it the whole time, but I don't know if they just don't have it or if they haven't drawn it or what. So Goyf hits me. They cast the Leovold. Yep, here it comes. There he is. My boy. Actually, I hate that guy. So end step, just decay the motherfucker. Now, they have 3 cards in their hand, and I believe at this point in the game, all of them are unknown to me. So, it's a little, going off here is a little risky, but I have an opening, and they, like, that game plan suggests that they were leaning on Leovold to lock me out. Because if they take a little bit of a risk by playing the Goyf before the Leovold, means they want to have a clock on board once their lock piece comes down, so they don't give me time. That's kind of my reasoning anyway. At any rate, I have potentially an opening here. I have the kill in hand, and I also won game 1, so there's another game if I need it, if I lose. So I just go for it. So I play out the mire, crack it for an Underground Sea. Then I cast Ritual into Doomsday. And the pile here will be LED, Probe, Ideas Unbound, LED, LED. Because you use the Brainstorm to put the Burning Wish back into your pile. So this is kind of a neat little pile. Brainstorm piles are pretty powerful. This run requires you to have an extra red mana available, which I do have with the Volcanic Island. So put the first Lion's Eye Diamond on the bottom, then another Lion's Eye Diamond, and then since we're just putting cards back with Brainstorm anyway, these 3 cards can go in whatever order. They're the ones I'm going to draw off Brainstorm. So Brainstorm here, and I draw those 3 cards, put back Burning Wish, and then Ideas Unbound on top. Play the Lion's Eye Diamond. I won't lose to a shock from the Deathrite Shaman, so I'm free to leave up extra mana, so I'll pay life for the Probe. Make sure to hold priority and crack the Lion's Eye Diamond. For blue, Probe shows me what they got, and it's a Daze. So we need that extra mana that we left up. But they don't have the mana to cast the Abrupt Decay. So we'll beat the Daze. Cast Ideas Unbound. And I think they decide to Daze the Ideas Unbound, because it's kind of a choke point. So I pay for it. Ideas Unbound resolves, and they're dead. They know the jig here. They saw it before, so there it is. Give them the drills. Alright, let's look at the next match. So this one went to 3 games. Now, I'll let you see if you can figure out what I'm up against this time. It's another bug deck. They, I'll tell you what, they got me good. I mean, you can probably figure it out from me saying that. But that hand is similar to some of the hands from the last match. It's not stellar, but it has good longer game potential and plenty of mana, so we'll keep it. They lead off with a Ponder, which again, I mean, Underground Sea into Ponder could be like Storm or something, but it could also be some bug deck like Bug Delver or whatever. So I lead off. I think I crack the Mire for a basic and duress them. Once again, drew another duress. That's good. We'll be able to rip apart their hand pretty easily this way. So yeah, we'll go for the basic and duress them. And I see, off that, I see a Jace, a Leovold, and a Baleful Strix. Now, to me, this makes me think Shardless Bug, because Bug Delver doesn't usually play the Jace. However, there's another bug option that I totally neglected to think about, which is Aluren, which, unsurprisingly probably to our viewers, is what it actually was. I wasn't really aware that Aluren played Jace the Mind Sculptor very often. So maybe they do, maybe this guy just has it as a one-of or something, like maybe it's a flex slot. But anyway, it's the only thing I can take, and it's a good card to take, so I take it. I have the Therapy for their Leovold, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'll hold the last duress probably until a turn or two later. Sometimes it's smart to hold duresses and not just fire them off right away, especially if you know that they might not have anything for you to duress, because then you're wasting a card. So they'll play the Strix. Yep, as expected. Draw drawing me some cards. So I'm going to let this go a little faster. I'm going to play Therapy. I'm going to name Leovold. I hit the Leovold. I see that they have a Ponder but no Disruption. They play their Brainstorm that they drew. Maybe they had a Brainstorm but no Disruption. Anyway, they fire off another Strix. And they come in with the first one. I untap, draw another land, so I'm just going to play lands. I duress them. Now they have a Force Will, so I'll take that. Here, they will probably fire off the Ponder and then a Shardless Agent. They come in for some damage. Now they have they drew another Leovold, so that's kind of annoying. So I'm just going to get some mana. And now I'm going to Burning Wish, and I'm going to grab Void Snare, because I'm going to use that to try and bounce the Leovold on my combo turn, if I can. They come in, now they got a Shardless Agent. Cascade into Baleful Strix. So this game's not looking good for me, because I am dead on board. So what I have to do here is Void Snare Leovold, because there's absolutely no way for me to win if I don't do that. I Brainstorm, and it's kind of garbage. But it does buy me one more turn. So I try it, because I could potentially... Now, here I kind of screw up. My game plan here is... Like, they have a shitload of cards, so they probably have counter magic. I'm now at 2. So they play Aluren, and here I panic, and I decay the Shardless Agent. However, that means that Aluren lets them play their Leovold for free. And the reason I kind of forgot about that, and I decay the Shardless Agent, because it's like a kind of potentially a combo piece, and they had, and like it's a better combo piece than Baleful Strix because it digs deeper. So if they happen to have a Cavern Harpy in hand, I wanted them to have less of a chance of comboing out. What I should have done, though, was just ignore that, because that's dumb. They still have the Baleful Strix to combo out with. And they have plenty of life to work with, so bouncing and replaying Baleful Strix is fine. Aluren lets them replay Leovold, so what I really should have done was just wait. But because they can replay Leovold at instant speed, they could just flash it in a combo turn, during my combo turn, and I'd get fucked. So there's not a lot that I could do there, but if they're going to play that in their second main phase anyway, it would give me a chance to Abrupt Decay it. And then if I drew Doomsday for the turn, I have enough mana that I could have cast Doomsday, played the Lion's Eye Diamond, pondered, and tried to build a Lab Maniac pile. But no such luck. I get a little tilted and just scoop it up. Not that there's anything I could do. I was dead there. So, on to game 2. So, here, that hand is a little, like, again, not super great. This seems to happen a lot with this deck. You get hands that are not super great, but are keepable, and you got to figure out how to turn them into hands that are good. But we have a Duress, we have a Top, we have a Xantid Swarm. So this hand is well suited to trying to grind through Disruption. So they'll lead off with Ponder. And then they'll do their thing. And I draw a Brainstorm, and I'm just going to Duress them. And I take the Aluren, because I'm a little less worried about Surgical Extraction, because Xantid Swarm will prevent them from doing it after I Doomsday, and if they do it before I cast Doomsday, it's not that big a deal. So they play out a Strix, and now I'm going to crack my Bloodstained Mire and Spin Top. So let's see what I spin up here. And a Duress, a Doomsday, and another land. So that's pretty good. The land plus probe and Doomsday is a kill. So probably my game plan here is going to be play. Well, let me see. I'm not sure exactly what I do, but I'm definitely going to want to land the Xanthus one. But I think now that I've spun top, I can't remember, but they might just fire off that surgical extraction because I've arranged the top of my deck and they want to make me shuffle. So yep, that's what they do. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get that nice Doomsday and extra land, but that's fine. But this gives me a chance to cast the Xanthid Swarm. So I'll draw Burning Wish, which is good. I found a business spell, cast the Xanthid Swarm, and I'm going to leave up the Underground Sea. I think I might Brainstorm on my end step here, since I don't have a a fetch land. It's better to Brainstorm my end step because I'll put 2 cards back and then draw one of them for the turn, and so then it'll only be 1 card on top of my deck that to like draw through, so I'm not Brainstorm locked for as long as if I like waited. Probably doesn't make a lot of difference, but fire off the Brainstorm, and they Force Will it, which is a little strange, but I guess it's fine. It got it got a counter spell out of the hand, and they pitched a Baleful Strix, so whatever. I'll draw for the turn. It's a red source, which is really nice. I needed that. So I spin the top, I see a ritual, and now I can just wait till next turn. And with Probe, Burning Wish, Ritual, that's a kill from here. And I have the Xanthid Swarm to protect my kill. So everything should go swimmingly. Whoops, I'll just let it play out. So they attack, they play the Colostro Healer, like whatever the fuck that's all about. Play the Deathray Shaman. And I attack with Xanthid Swarm. They block the Cavern Harpy, but it doesn't matter because I'm killing them this turn. They can't do anything about it. Standard cantrip and Sensei's Divining Top Pile. 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds, Ideas of Bound Burning Wish. And give them the drills. Alright. Game 3. Now this one's a little more interesting. So that hand is... Alright. Whoa, slow down, boy. Okay, so here's my opening hand. Brainstorm is what makes the hand good. Honestly, looking back on it, maybe I should have mulliganed this, especially because I'm on the draw. If I can fire off that Brainstorm and throw away a couple lands for some action, then the hand could potentially be pretty good. Now, because they play the Carpet, what I decide to do is play Lotus Petal and a fetch land and Brainstorm off the Lotus Petal. So I do my thing, play Lotus Petal, and they force a Will the Brainstorm, which is maybe smart, because my play there makes my hand look pretty bad. So I play the Lion's Eye Diamond to dodge discard, which, to be fair, I don't know that they have. But, and now I'm going to play a game. Okay, so they Surgical Extraction my Brainstorm. I don't care about that too much. It's a little inconvenient. Now I don't have a good cantrip in my deck, but it's not a death sentence. So now, because they have a Carpet, I decide to just not play any islands until I'm ready to go off. So I play a lot of draw go from here, and I leave most of my fetch lands uncracked because they don't do a whole lot. And there's no reason to give them a bunch of mana. So we'll just let this play out for a little while, and I'll check back in when my strategy changes. Alright, so we got a top. We can play it without playing an island. Just keep making that carpet useless. They play a Noble Hierarch, which is, I don't think I've ever seen that in Aluren before. In their end step, I crack for a Badlands, and I spin it, and I find a Cabal Therapy and a Business Spell. So things are looking good. I have a kill next turn now. And protection for the kill. So, here's where things get a little bit interesting. They cast Aluren. Now, Aluren is worrisome, but because if they just combo off, then I'm not going to win. There's nothing I can do about that. However, they don't combo off. They pass to me. So I assume they don't have the combo pieces and just want to get Aluren out because there's not really anything I can do about it. So I draw my Burning Wish. I cast Therapy. And I believe I name Force of Will because it's really the only thing here that can stop me that I could think of. However, it's not quite true that it's the only thing that can stop me because Surgical Extraction can make things a little difficult. Now, I think about what my game plan here is. I have a lot of mana. I definitely want to Burning Wish and cast Doomsday. I don't want to leave up. I don't want to crack both Lion's Eye Diamonds because then they could Surgical Extraction my Lion's Eye Diamonds, and I'd rather them not do that. I'd rather have the one. So I have to crack one. If they Surgical my Lion's Eye Diamonds and get them, then that's fine. I have enough mana that I can just go off. Also, incidentally worth noting, and it kind of comes in handy here, Aluren lets me play my Lab Maniac for free. So, because I don't need any mana to cast Lab Maniac, I have a lot more freedom with the pile I make. So, the thing that I decide to do is I'm going to cast the Burning Wish, crack one of the LEDs for black, and cast Doomsday. And I make kind of an odd pile. I decide to make a pass a turn pile. And what I do, let's cast this Doomsday first. So I make a pass a turn pile. And the cards I end up choosing are a Duress, Ideas Unbound, Lab Maniac, and a Sensei's Divining Top. No, I think I ended up ditching the Sensei's Divining Top because I don't actually need that. Yeah, so I swapped the Sensei's Divining Top out. I already have one, so I swapped that out for an Abrupt Decay. So that's the pile I ended up doing. Now, the reason I choose this pile is because I can play the Lab Maniac for free, so I have a lot of mana to work with. Duress lets me get rid of a counterspell or the Surgical Extraction potentially if they don't just play it. Abrupt Decay lets me get rid of a Leovold if they draw a Leovold. And I have enough mana where what I can do by making a pass a turn pile, if they try and Surgical Extraction me on their end step, on my end step I can use Divining Top to draw Ideas Unbound so that my pile doesn't get too messed up. And then I have enough mana to use Divining Top to reorder it the next turn. And then, if they don't, then I'll just draw the Duress. And if they slam a Leovold, then I'll have mana to reorder it to try and play the Abrupt Decay. So, we'll see what happens. They flash in Deathray Shaman on my end step so that they can shock me on my turn. That's fine, whatever. Now they actually do get mana from the carpet, but I'm going to try to win on my turn, so it was kind of unavoidable. We'll let it happen. So the risk of not making the risk of not, or the reason I didn't try to just go off there is because even though I had enough mana that I could basically the surgical extraction runs the risk of reordering my pile, and even though I have top, that would let me reorder the top 3 cards. If Ideas Unbound isn't in those top 3 cards, I'm totally fucked. And if Ideas Unbound is in those top 3 cards, but so is like some card I don't want in the top 3 cards, then I'm fucked. So the pass turn pile is safer here. I suppose like Aluren can kill at instant speed, so if they have the kill in hand, they might be waiting till I put copies of Tendrils on the stack or some shit. But I know they don't have the kill in hand because I therapy them. So pass turn pile is correct here, I think. I decided it was anyway. So they hit me. Now they have another 2 damage they can do from the Death Right, but that'll be fine. I don't care about that. Now they still haven't done their surgical extraction, probably because they know that I can get the top card with Divining Top. So I draw for turn, and it's the duress. So I duress them, and now here the correct play I think for them would have been to to cast a surgical extraction. And what I would have done would be spin top and then tap top to draw in response, so that I draw the first card, which is Ideas Unbound, and then I reorder the next 3 to try and make sure that not that it matters because I'm going to draw those 3 with Ideas Unbound, but maybe it would matter a little. I don't know. Fucking whatever. Anyway, so I duress them, and they just let me take the surgical extraction, which is fine. That means I don't have to fuck around. Actually, the reason I would want to the reason I would want to spin top and then activate it is because, well, no, surgical extraction. Nah, never mind. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let's just focus on what's happening. I dress them. They just let me take the surgical extraction. That's fine and fucking dandy with me. So now I have an easy kill. I know what the last card in their hand is, so just crack the LED for blue, cast Ideas Unbound, and then I play the top, play the probe. Here I held priority because I'm so used to holding priority because I would need to crack a Lion's Eye Diamond, but we don't have a Lion's Eye Diamond here. Cast Lab Maniac for free, to send a message. Decay their Carpet of Flowers because I fucking can. And then I they fire off Deathrite Shaman in response, and I tap to draw in response, and I win. So that's how that goes. So yeah, Aluren is a fun matchup. They are also a slow combo deck. They have a much better backup plan than we do because Doomsday has to combo, and Aluren can beat down with little dudes. They also can win at instant speed once Aluren's out. So even if they cast Aluren and then don't actually play any cards, you can potentially still lose even if you try to combo out, even if they let you combo out. But they also don't have a ton of disruption, especially not in game 1. The straight bug version is more popular these days. There's also the bug plus white version that plays Recruiter the Guard. That version, the bug white version, usually doesn't play, the only disruption they play is Cabal Therapy or something. The straight bug version can play Force of Will, but for Force of Will in the main is still not a lot of disruption. So game 1, you should have the advantage. Just gotta watch out for Leovold. Game 2 and 3, they bring in other counter magic, but Xanthid Swarm is pretty good. And you still have lots of discard yourself. So yeah, thanks for watching or whatever. Go fuck yourselves.